From the moment she stepped onto a WNBA court, Caitlin Clark had a target on her back. Opponents thought they found her weakness: brute force. They tried to push her, knock her down, and break her, but they made a huge mistake. Instead of breaking, she rebuilt. This is the story of how Caitlin Clark's shocking physical transformation wasn't an accident. It's the fuel behind a new level of dominance the league just wasn't ready for. Let's rewind to 2024. When Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA, she was a phenomenon, a walking bucket with ridiculous range and court vision. She'd shattered records at Iowa, become the NCAA's all-time leading scorer, and brought a level of hype that went way beyond sports. But right alongside all that praise, a nagging question started to form, whispered in locker rooms and debated on sports talk shows. It wasn't about her skill, it was about her strength. Was she really built for the pros? The WNBA is a league of grown women. These are the most elite, powerful, and physical players on the planet. The jump from college isn't a step, it's a leap across a chasm, and the landing is always rough. For Clark, that reality hit hard and fast. From her very first game, the league-wide scouting report was obvious. Get physical with Caitlin Clark. Don't let her get comfortable. Bump her off her spots. Challenge her at the rim, and make her feel every single bump and bruise of the professional game. Her rookie season was a straight-up gauntlet. It felt like every drive to the basket ended in a hard foul, and every screen she ran through was met with an unyielding shoulder. Opposing coaches weren't shy about their strategy, openly saying that the game plan was to be physical. It wasn't just speculation, it was the entire league's approach. Clark was constantly on the receiving end of hard fouls, absorbing an alarming number of flagrant and hard fouls throughout the season. The constant barrage took a toll. You could see it in the box scores, where a high turnover rate plagued her early games as she adjusted. You could see it in her body language. Frustration after yet another hard knock didn't draw a whistle, and you could hear it in the media narrative that began to solidify. The story wasn't just that she was a rookie finding her way, it was that her relatively slender frame was a genuine liability. Critics wondered if she could ever truly dominate against defenders who were bigger, stronger, and dead set on using that advantage. It was a baptism by fire. Pundits and fans argued endlessly. Was she being targeted? Or was this just the welcome to the league treatment every great player gets? Many pointed out that legends like Michael Jordan faced the same thing, forcing them to adapt or fade. But for Clark, the pressure was amplified by a spotlight brighter than any rookie had ever seen. Every stumble was magnified, every sign of weakness scrutinized. The league had laid down a clear challenge. Your talent is generational, but is your body ready for this war? The problem was set. The whole league thought they had her number. They figured they had the formula to neutralize the Clark effect, overwhelm her with physicality, wear her down, and prove that the skills that made her a college legend just weren't enough. They poked and prodded, waiting for her to break. What they never expected was her response. They thought she'd complain or shrink from the contact. They never expected her to go into the lab and forge a whole new weapon. The 2024 season ended with a first-round playoff appearance for the Indiana Fever, a big step, for sure, but for Clark, it was just the end of Chapter 1. The real work was about to begin. The brutal welcome she got from the league wasn't just a tough year, it was data. It was a crystal-clear picture of what it would take to not just survive, but to thrive. And the conclusion was obvious. She had to get stronger. This wasn't some casual New Year's resolution to go to the gym more. This was a mission, a fundamental shift in her approach to being a pro. Clark knew it herself. She'd gone straight from a grueling college season into the WNBA meat grinder with almost no break. That schedule left no time for real strength training. It was all about just getting through it. But her first full off-season gave her a 7-month window, a precious, uninterrupted chance to rebuild. In interviews, both Clark and her head coach, Stephanie White, were clear about the off-season plan. She figured out right away that I need to get stronger. I can't get knocked around as much, White revealed. It was a moment of serious self-awareness from the young star. The logo threes and no-look passes were her signatures, but she knew the foundation supporting them had to be rock-solid. Clark echoed that, saying, "That was the number one thing I knew I needed to improve, is just how strong I was." She knew getting stronger wasn't just about winning one-on-one physical battles, it was about everything. It would help her finish through contact on offense. It would help her hold her ground on defense. And most importantly, it would help her stay on the court by fighting off fatigue and making her more resilient to the grind of a long season. So the plan was set. The off-season wasn't for a vacation or for resting on her Rookie of the Year award. It was for a focused, deliberate campaign to transform her body. She worked hand-in-hand with the Indiana Fever's performance staff, especially head athletic performance coach Sarah Kessler. The goal wasn't just to add weight, it was to build functional, basketball-specific strength. This was the turning point. The league asked a question with its physicality, and Caitlin Clark was about to spend the next 7 months building a very definitive and very muscular answer. When Caitlin Clark showed up for the 2025 season, the change was impossible to miss. It started with a photo of her at an Iowa Hawkeyes game in March that went viral. Fans and analysts did a collective double take. Her arms looked more defined, more powerful. By the time the Fever's season opener came around, Caitlin Clark muscles was a breakout search term on Google. ESPN even ran a side-by-side of her 2024 and 2025 Media Day photos, and the difference was stark. This wasn't a camera trick. This was the result of a relentless, meticulously planned offseason while we were all rewatching her rookie highlights. Clark was living in the weight room, often 4 to 5 times a week. Her coach, Sarah Kessler, pointed out Clark's insane consistency. Even after flying out for events, hundreds of miles away, Clark would be right back in the gym at 8 a.m. the next morning, ready to go. Her dedication was on another level. So, what was she actually doing? This was way more than just lifting heavy things. The program was a masterclass in building a modern basketball player. It was all about creating strength that translates directly to the court. A core principle of her training was time under tension. This technique forces muscles to stay under resistance for longer, building durability and endurance, not just raw power. Think of holding a squat for as long as you can. For Clark, this means being able to stay in a low, powerful defensive stance for longer, or holding her line while dribbling through traffic. As Clark herself explained, she sometimes played very straight up. This training was all about making her strong in those low, athletic positions the pro game demands. The regimen was a full-body attack. It included power lifts like squats and deadlifts for a strong base, and explosive movements like sprints and single-leg work to boost her first-step quickness. They also focused heavily on single-arm exercises to build upper body strength, which is crucial for fending off defenders and making strong passes through traffic. The real genius was how the performance coaches and basketball coaches worked together. Every lift in the weight room was designed to mimic an action on the court, whether it was pushing off a specific leg to create space for a shot or building core stability to absorb a hit on a drive. The result? A reported gain of about 8 pounds of lean muscle, a huge addition for a guard that completely reshaped her physical profile. The reaction online was a mix of awe and motivation. Social media was flooded with comments like "CC ain't skipping leg day" or "arm day." Clark and the Fever staff had a laugh about all the attention her guns were getting, but they knew it was just the side effect of the real mission. This transformation wasn't for a magazine cover. It was a strategic rearmament. Every new muscle, fiber was a direct response to the physicality she faced as a rookie. She didn't just get stronger. She became a different kind of athlete, one built to withstand the WNBA war, and more importantly, to start imposing her own will on it. The true test of Caitlin Clark's transformation wasn't going to be on a scale or in a viral photo. It was going to be on the court. And from the opening tip of the 2025 season, the payoff was undeniable. The change wasn't just visible, it was tactical. It completely changed the scouting report on her. The most immediate difference was her ability to handle contact. The rookie who could be knocked off her path to the rim was gone. Now, she was a player who could not only absorb contact but finish right through it. Before, a bump from a defender might cause an off-balance miss or a turnover. Now, Clark was holding her line to the basket, taking the hit, and still getting the shot up. That newfound strength in her core and lower body gave her a stability she just didn't have in her first year. Drives to the basket were no longer hopeful attempts. They were aggressive, confident attacks. This new resilience changed her whole offensive game. Defenders couldn't just rely on a simple hip check to disrupt her rhythm anymore. That forced them into a tough choice. Either give her space, which is a death sentence for a shooter like her, or commit to a harder foul and put her on the free throw line. Her strength basically erased that middle ground of physicality that opponents had used against her. And don't forget the shooting. A stronger base and core mean more stability on your jump shot, letting you get it off quicker and more consistently, even with a hand in your face. But the hidden benefit was in creating space. Basketball is a game of inches. The ability to use your body to create just a little more separation is the difference between a contested shot and a clean look. She was now using her shoulders and her powerful frame to shield the ball, create a pocket of space for her step back, and hold her ground coming off screens. On defense, the change was just as big. A common knock on Clark in college and her rookie year was that she was a defensive liability. Teams would hunt her on switches and try to overpower her in the post. That's not so easy anymore. The added muscle means she can hold her position against bigger guards without getting backed down. She can fight through screens instead of getting completely wiped out by them. Her improved defensive stance, born from all those time under tension drills, has made her a much more credible defender. She's no longer the automatic target she once was. Basically, the transformation patched the biggest holes in her game. It made her a true 3-level scoring threat, because the drive to the rim is now just as dangerous as a logo 3. It made her a more complete player, because you can no longer dismiss her as just a one-way offensive talent. The book on how to play Caitlin Clark Be Physical, Push Her Around is officially obsolete. She took the league's biggest weapon against her and made it useless. But the changes in Caitlin Clark's game were more than just muscle deep. The physical transformation kicked off a parallel evolution in her mindset, her strategy, and her durability though. That last part has become a complicated, ongoing battle. The most obvious change was a huge surge in confidence. It's one thing to know you're the most skilled player on the floor, it's another thing to know you might also be one of the strongest. This new physical presence showed up in her body language. The frustration from her rookie year was replaced by a kind of steely-eyed aggression. She wasn't just reacting to the physicality anymore, she was often the one initiating it. She started embracing contact on her drives, almost daring defenders to challenge her. That swagger is a powerful psychological weapon. It's a mentality that says, you can't push me around anymore. In fact, I might just push you. Strategically, all that off-season work was an investment in her long-term health. The added muscle was designed to boost her endurance and make her less susceptible to injury. But this is where the story gets more complicated. The 2025 season has been a harsh reminder of the fine line elite athletes walk. Her sophomore year has been hit hard by injuries, including quad and groin strains that have forced her to miss significant time. This adds a really important layer to her transformation story. While the strength was meant to build resilience, it also shows the incredible stress her body is under. Her coach, Stephanie White, has suggested that the sheer physicality she faces every night, the constant stopping, starting, and absorbing hits is a factor in her injuries. Clark herself has talked about the mental toll, admitting, "This is the first time I haven't felt like a young body that can run around and sprint every day and just continue to do that." Her journey through these injuries shows that adapting to the pros isn't a one-time fix. It's a continuous cycle of strengthening, recovery, and management. And it's clear her development wasn't just about getting bigger. The training was smart. Alongside the heavy lifting, she sharpened the finer points of her game. She worked on her balance and core stability, which are key for her signature off-balance shots. She also added a more reliable floater to her arsenal to deal with shot blockers at the rim. This shows a mature, intelligent approach. She didn't just add a sledgehammer to her toolkit. She sharpened every instrument she already had. The strength was the foundation, but the skill refinement was the final touch that made the whole package so deadly. We've broken down the how and the why of Caitlin Clark's incredible transformation. But what do you think is the biggest change in her game now that she's added all this strength? Is it her finishing, her defense, or just her overall confidence? Let us know your take in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this deep dive, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because the story of Caitlin Clark's dominance is just getting started. Caitlin Clark's transformation hasn't just changed her game, it's changed the game for everyone else. The entire WNBA is being forced to recalculate. That simple, brutish strategy of get physical with the rookie is no longer a real plan. In fact, trying to do that now often plays right into her hands. A new, more complex chess match has emerged, and opposing coaches are scrambling to figure out their next move. Think about the nightmare of prepping for the Indiana Fever now. Before, the main goal was to run Clark off the three-point line, no matter what. You could live with her trying to drive into a crowded paint against bigger bodies. But now, that's all flipped. If you press up on her to take away the deep ball, you risk her using that newfound strength to blow by you and get to the rim, where she's now an elite finisher through contact. Her powerful first step, plus a frame that can take a hit, makes her a monster in isolation. So, what do? Sag off her to protect the paint. That's a death wish. Giving Caitlin Clark an inch of daylight from deep is just asking for trouble. This creates an impossible choice for defenders. They're stuck in no man's land, forced to guard against both the deep three and the powerful drive two, threats that are now equally dangerous. This forces teams to rethink their entire defensive scheme. A zone defense might seem like an answer, but Clark's court vision is made to pick zones apart. Man-to-man coverage is a huge risk because of the dual threat she poses. Do you switch on screens? If you put a slower forward on her, she'll just pull up for three. If you put a smaller guard on her, she can use her strength to bully her way to the basket. The ripple effect even changes how you build a roster. Who is the ideal Caitlin Clark stopper now? It's not just about having a quick guard anymore. Now, that player also needs the strength to hold their ground and the discipline not to foul. Players with that rare mix of size, speed, and strength are unicorns, making it a matchup nightmare for nearly every team in the league. Her transformation has raised the bar for what it means to defend an elite guard in the WNBA. She has forced an evolution in defensive strategy across the board. The old playbook has been torn to shreds. The league put her on notice in her rookie year. Now, she's forcing every single opponent to go back to the drawing board and find a new answer, because the old one just doesn't work anymore. Watch Caitlin Clark play today. It's easy to get lost in the highlights, the logo threes, the no-look passes, the swagger, but if you only focus on that, you miss the real story. The story of her transformation isn't just a globe. It's a story of adaptation, survival, and brilliant strategic evolution. The league threw down a gauntlet in her rookie season. They tested her with relentless physicality, betting that her incredible skill would eventually break under brute force. They pushed, shoved, and tried to bully her, creating a narrative that she was too frail for the pros, but they completely misjudged her character. Instead of breaking, she rebuilt. Instead of complaining, she committed. Her response wasn't in a press conference or a post-game quote. It was written in sweat, in reps, and in the quiet, grueling hours in the weight room. It was a calculated weaponization of her own body, direct and powerful answer to the challenge the league gave her. The added muscle, the increased strength, the improved stability, these weren't for show. They were tactical upgrades designed to neutralize the main strategy against her and unlock a new level of dominance. This transformation has made her a more complete, more resilient, and ultimately, a more dangerous player. She is no longer just a phenom, she's a physical force. The conversation is no longer about whether she can handle the physicality of the WNBA. The new question is, how is the WNBA going to handle her? The journey is far from over. As her recent injuries show, maintaining an elite athletic body is a constant, demanding battle. But her commitment to evolving is undeniable. She took the league's best punch and came back stronger, smarter, and more determined than ever. The league put Caitlin Clark on notice. With this transformation, she's giving her response. What's your take on Caitlin's new game? Drop a comment below, and let us know how you think this changes the landscape of the WNBA. If you found this breakdown insightful, do us a favor and hit that like button, and make sure you're subscribed for more deep dives into the players and stories shaping the world of sports. Thanks for watching.